Bow your heads. First and utmost, we would like to give honor to God for all that you have done for us. God, we hope as you come here and be in presence of this meeting that we do things in decent and in order in the way that you see fit to run this town. God, we'd like to tell you thank you for being a blessing to the town of Spring Lake and a blessing to us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Alderwoman Jackson.
Mayor, I have an addition to the agenda to discuss the naming of the tennis court.
Okay, the discussion of naming of the tennis court, that will be item 9C on the agenda. Is there, okay, there's a motion. Moved in second. Okay. All right. No, he said, I don't know if you need to do that. This is just A, because we will adopt the agenda. Okay, and we'll need a motion. But are there any other additions or deletions? Now, we'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda. Alderwoman Jackson.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Alderwoman Cooper.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda with the addition of 9C, the discussion to name the tennis court. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, sign of nay. Okay, now we need a motion on the approval of the consent item. Alderwoman Cooper.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the January 20th, 2019 regular meeting.
Alderwoman Jackson.
I second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the January 28th, 2019 meeting. You've heard the motion. You ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
The public forum. 2 persons have signed up, Mr. Nathaniel Fitch and Ms. Betty Sanford. You may approach in that order. Public forum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, lady. My name is Daniel Fitch. This is Mr. Gray from the Spring Lake Rec Center. I live at 735 Ridge Drive. I'm here tonight to express my concern for a lot of the kids in the Spring Lake. We had got confirmation today to partnership with the Spring Lake Rec Center to do an event, our annual event at the Spring Lake Middle School on the 4th of May. And we're trying to get each one of the board members to purchase 2 of our t-shirts to help us on our fundraiser. It's hard to catch up with some people, so I figure if I come here, look you in the eyeball, and tell you my concern, then maybe you guys would hear me out. I got another small issue. I would like to get put on you guys' Facebook page. Who do I talk to? Mr. O'Gara?
You talk to me.
Okay. One day next week I call your secretary, make an appointment, come on and tell me about it.
Yes.
Please. Any questions from the board?
Yes.
How many of those shirts did you sell? So I was supposed to buy one shirt.
Two.
Two.
Well, I really wasn't saying in particular one person. I was just saying that Mr. Gray had bought a half dozen, and you bought a couple. So share.
Yeah, I bought a couple.
Here's somebody else.
You took $100 from me.
Is there any more questions from the board? Thank you very much. God bless. Have a good evening.
Ms. Singh?
Good evening to the board, to all of you. Thank God for allowing me to be here this evening. I won't take up much of your time. You know my name, Betty Sanford. I have about three things, and I want to thank,
Ms. Singh, your address for the record, please.
104 Wapiti Drive, Spring Lake, North Carolina, 28390.
Thank you so much.
Are you sure?
But, I want to thank, thank you for the girls. Yeah, I thank you for that. I want to talk about the open door policy. Used to, I could come up here and see the mayor or whoever I wanted to talk to, the town manager. And now when I come up here, I don't see nobody to ask because that young man is not there all the time. And the doors are locked. So, what are we gonna do about that? I mean, sometimes I'd like to come up and just, talk to you. And some things I can get answered if I can see you and talk to you face to face, one-on-one. Okay, so y'all think about that. The other thing is traffic. The traffic in Spring Lake, is a little bit too much. And I know that we're getting, the lights and things like this, the crosswalk and all this. But in the residential area, I noticed that people they're not stopping. They're stop signs. But what they do is they partially yield, and that's a partial yield. They're basically just running it, And I haven't been saying anything to them, but usually I do tell them to slow it down. The other thing is about the dogs, and I read this, and read one that you gave me a couple of weeks ago. And I have there's this one neighbor. I went over to my daughter's house, and when I went over there, those dogs drove me crazy. I mean, it was about, I guess probably about 6 or 8 of them at the fence. And all of them just barking, just like, they were just barking. And that's a nuisance. That is a nuisance. And she says when she goes out with her 2 little dogs, they don't even bark. But those dogs over next door to her, those dogs are crazy. They just bark, bark, bark. And it's non-stop. You can drive into the driveway and they start barking. That's what they do. So I would like to know, what can we do about that? I mean, I like dogs, I really do. But they are a nuisance. So you all check on that for me, and I'll talk to you about something else later on. Because I think I'm going to have to take you to this area and show you what I'm talking about. Okay? Any questions?
The address for the dogs, you got it?
If they're next door to my daughter, her address is 472 Wapiti.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's it?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. As we, no question. The next item on the agenda is Cumberland County Community Development Action Program, Ms. Detail.
Good evening.
Hello.
And thank you for allowing me to come out and provide you with just a brief update on upcoming community development programs and activities. So, as most of you know, Cumberland County is designated as an entitlement jurisdiction, which basically means we receive community development block grant and home investment partnership programs.
Could you speak a little louder?
Oh, yes.
I understand that sometimes they can't hear you.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
And so we receive those funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. And so as part of meeting HUD's requirement and to continue to receive those funding, we're in the process of preparing our annual action plan, which outlines the funding resources and the projects that we plan to undertake for the upcoming program year, which will begin July 1 of 2019 and end June 30th of 2020. And so since Spring Lake, the town of Spring Lake is a participating jurisdiction, we just want to make sure that we include your input as far as any potential projects or activities that you would like for us to consider in this annual action plan. So during the preparation of our 5-year strategic plan, which covers the period of 2015 through 2020, we identified priority needs where the projects and activities that we do plan to undertake will have to connect to those priority needs. And so those priority needs consisted of expanding affordable housing, addressing homelessness, and also expanding any type of public services or public facilities, infrastructure type projects. And so the programs that we currently carry out are owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program. We also provide financial assistance such as down payment of closing costs to go towards the purchase of a home. We provide investor-owners financial assistance, let's say if they want to rehab their home and then rent it out to a low-income tenant. We also provide funding towards homeless services and again, non-housing related activities such as public services, public facilities, and infrastructure. So for any project to be eligible for the CDBG or Community Development Block Grant, it has to meet one of 3 national objectives, and that is to benefit low to moderate income households, eliminate slum and blighted area, or meet urgent needs such as a natural disaster. For the home funding, basically that is for affordable housing activities, and so it has to benefit low to moderate income households. So for the current year, HUD awarded community development $825,817 in CDBG funds and home funds $399,148. We anticipate pretty much the same level of funding. And in the Spring Lake area, in the town of Spring Lake and the surrounding town area, we invested approximately about $6 million in CDBG and home funds that went towards affordable housing development, infrastructure, your senior center project, and housing rehab projects as well. So we do have a request for proposal that will be coming out, posted this week. And so just letting you know, this again will be for the upcoming program year. We don't know what our HUD allocations will be, but again, we anticipate pretty much the same funding level. And this will be for public services, public facility infrastructure type projects, and affordable housing. So just be on the lookout for that if you do have a particular project in mind. And just lastly, I just want to provide just an update on the Hurricane Matthew recovery efforts. Our office, which is located at 707 Executive Place, we're still taking in applications, believe it or not, for the Hurricane Matthew recovery. That is where the intake center is. We have intake specialists that, process the application and send it up to the state for them to determine the eligibility, duplication of benefits, and they conduct the site inspections and issue the award letters. We have not heard anything, related to Hurricane Florence as far as, community development block grant, but we will definitely keep you updated as soon as we hear anything. I think some of you may be aware that the state did open up a new office under the Department of Public Safety, which is, they call NCOR, North Carolina Office of Recovery and Resiliency. And so they will pretty much be administering, the Hurricane Matthew and the Hurricane Florence, program. And again, we'd like your feedback if possible by the end of the month. If you have any potential projects in mind, I do have commission commitment letter for the infrastructure that you submitted to for the niche issue. So, and that's it. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Alderman Christian, then Alderwoman Jackson.
You said we still have an intake center?
Yes.
It's still-
Located at 707 Executive Place, or it's right off of Rayford Road.
Right off of Rayford Road, okay. What kind of homeless population do we have in Spring Lake? You know, just curiosity. It doesn't have an exact number.
I'm not sure about Spring. We just conducted a, what we call a point-in-time homeless count, a couple weeks ago. And so we are compiling those numbers. So we may have, I may be able to provide you with some additional information once we come close to compiling all of that data.
I know a few homeless people I grew up with, and they tell me they tend to drift towards downtown Fayetteville because that's where the majority of the shelters are in the winter months. So I didn't know if you were aware of that.
We usually get a few numbers from this area, but, you know, just depends on if volunteers are able to come out and capture. Sometimes it's kind of hard to locate homeless persons, because, you know, they want their privacy.
These individuals are just, like I said, somebody I grew up with. Occasionally I'll buy them a meal or just talk to them. No. Okay, thanks very much.
And I'd like to leave some campus.
Hold on, Alderwoman Jackson, then Alderwoman Cooper.
When you speak on the public facilities and the infrastructure, and forgive me if this question is crazy, are you talking about building new things or fixing things that's already here?
Both. So either rehabbing or new construction. And I know our funding is not a lot, but most agencies use it to at least leverage, you know, their other funding resources. But it covers both. So if we wanted to, just top of my head, try to get something for the kids, could we introduce that to you? Would that be considered? I would suggest you just submit an application, and again, as long as it meet one of those 3 national objectives that I identified, it meets the priority needs that I identified, then, you know, that's identified in our consolidated 5-year action plan, then we may be able to consider that. And you are the contact person? Yes.
Thank you. You said you were going to be putting out RFPs. Did you say a date for that?
It will be this week.
This weekend?
Yes, more likely by Friday.
Okay, and how long will those be up?
I think we have the due date that it will be probably mid-March.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Alderwoman Jackson.
One more question. If we decide to submit an application, we the board do that, or can anybody that lives in Spring Lake, or if they have an idea, submit it?
Well, it depends on what type of project we're referring to. So if it's a resident that's trying to apply for to get their home rehab, then they would apply. But if you're trying to do, like for instance, the infrastructure, then you would submit that.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Gara.
I'd like to just say thank you for coming out and passing this information on to us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay, we now have a presentation from the Spring Lake Chamber of Commerce quarterly report. Ms. Eden.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
tonight. My name is Izdihar Eaton, and I'm the president of the Spring Lake Chamber of Commerce. Before I get into this report, today I'm doing a quarterly report about the last 4.5 months that I've been on board. I just want to quickly explain what a Chamber of Commerce does. Most of you are familiar, but to give a simple explanation, the Chamber of Commerce in any town is meant to be a network of businesses that work together, that network together, and that strengthen the businesses within the community in order for the town and the rest of the community to prosper. Thank you. So when a town has a strong chamber, the rest of the community does really, really well. A strong chamber is when there are thriving businesses within that organization. So I came on board in October, at the very beginning of October, 2 weeks after Hurricane Florence devastated Spring Lake. And it just happens to be that I'm a fellow business owner here as well. And the building across from Guns Plus is the building that I own, and that flooded up to my height of water. So everything had to be gutted out in the building. The town worked really closely with us, as well as the rest of the citizens here in the community to help us rebuild. We didn't have flood insurance, so it just goes to show you how strong the town of Spring Lake is in coming together to rebuild all of this on our own. 40 days later, the building was able to reopen, and there are 8 businesses inside of that building that really kicked off the new Spring Lake Chamber of Commerce under my leadership. So this presentation that I'm giving is just a series of pictures, but they're talking points so you guys can see what we've been doing the last few months. This is 40 days exactly after the flood hit Spring Lake. And in this picture, you see myself, but the rest of the people standing there are not only the town manager, the mayor, and one of our lovely alderwomen, but also the representatives and owners of 8 businesses, new businesses here in Spring Lake. They have hope in Spring Lake. They invested here in this town, and they decided to join the chamber with a grand ribbon cutting and reopening here for the businesses. One thing that we've been doing is trying to grow the chamber by adding businesses into this organization. We've added almost 24 businesses to total about 63 businesses right now, and we're looking to continue growing that significantly for the future. By the end of the year, we'd like to reach closer to 100 members, which is very possible because we've been seeing a huge growth in business membership inside of the Chamber of Commerce, and we'd like to mirror something closer to what the Fayetteville Chamber has done. I chose this picture here because the Fayetteville Chamber, they're a little bit more grown up than the Spring Lake Chamber, and it's a great thing because we're able to strengthen the partnership with them and really get some great ideas from them. Why reinvent the wheel when it's already been invented and you can imitate and really partner on a lot of events? So a lot of you recognize Fenya right there on the left. She's one of the administrative assistants for the Chamber of Commerce, and this picture was our first gathering with the Fayetteville Chamber to work closely with them. We've gotten ideas on how to improve our coffee hours, which we do a monthly coffee hour for all the businesses where business owners are able to come for an hour early in the morning, they get a coffee, and they listen to a 30-minute long seminar on some topic that's going to help their business, whether it's how do I grow my marketing or how do I get financing. After that, they network with fellow business owners who they may have never met before, but now they know a fellow drywall guy that they may be able to recommend in the future, but it strengthens that brotherhood and that fraternity essentially within the Chamber of Commerce. So we were able to really strengthen that with this event, and we continue to get lots of ideas from here. This picture, I'm sure the board, you guys recognize this one right here. This picture is from a business after hours that the Chamber of Commerce hosts. We host a monthly business after hours that counteracts what the morning coffees do. This event is an evening event that is normally hosted at the Courtyard Marriott, which is a really nice hotel here. And in this one particularly, we did a wine tasting. We had a sommelier, a wine steward with different kinds of wine. We worked with the economic developer, the town manager, the rec center, the aldermen and women, and all the businesses that are in that picture. I don't think we even fit all of them in there, but everybody had a really great time. We had a huge turnout, and it was a chance for everyone to unwind a little bit after a busy day of work and just chit chat, not about anything really serious, but just get to know each other on a deeper level. This right here promotes trust within the chamber, within the town, within the businesses, and we can do better work when we have events like this. This event was in November. We did a car show and a chili cook-off all in the same day. One thing I've been trying to do is do a monthly community event in addition to the coffee hours and the business after hours, but a community event where people who don't have businesses can come. It's hosted by businesses, but citizens from Spring Lake, Fayetteville, wherever in Cumberland County can come and share. So all these cars right here, these were from different car clubs. They came out and participated. We handed out trophies for the winners. We had hundreds of people come through earlier in the day just to check out the cars and see them. And then these people right here are fellow business owners who each brought a pot of chili to enter the chili cook-off and host this for the community. It was a good event in November, and it drew a lot of interest in having people want to join the chamber and become a business within the chamber because of events like this. This picture right here, and I'm not sure if any of you attended, but we hosted a Christmas market in December. Show of hands, who actually came to the Christmas market? Anybody? Nobody. That's totally fine because it was awesome and we were planning on hosting it every single year. But this event right here, take a wild guess how many people showed up. Mayor Dobbins.
55.
55 people. We had 3,000 people come into Spring Lake throughout the day for a 4-hour event, come through these doors for a Christmas market. We had 35 businesses that were all vendors, charged a vendor fee for every single person. Half of those businesses have joined the chamber now because they get complimentary vendor booths if they are a member of the chamber. But each one provided something unique and local to the community, and they were selling Christmas presents. People came to do their Christmas shopping. We sold German food, and it was a packed house. People stopped in Spring Lake and were absolutely mesmerized by the event that happened here. And this was kind of our first shot, really. I'm going to say it was kind of amateur because our decoration, you know, it was the first time, but 3,000 people showed up. That's a big deal. So next year, we're planning on hosting another one, even better, even bigger, and hopefully we can expand it throughout the town. Then finally, I'm going to fast forward to the most recent thing. Another thing that the chamber does, it's not just events and fun and great community building. That is a strong part of it. But another thing is we have to deal with issues that impact the businesses. If businesses are not thriving and not doing well in a town, they end up closing down. Things become abandoned. The town kind of slowly starts dying. One thing that happened, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks ago, was Fort Bragg initiated some gate closures along Bragg Boulevard, which closed 3 gates and impacted the majority of the businesses here in Spring Lake that depend on a lunchtime crowd. They close the gates from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Nobody can come through if they're off. They can't come off base from those gates, and it takes them significantly longer to get to Spring Lake, which nobody has a 2-hour lunch break. An hour and a half at the most. You can't really take 3-4 hours. So businesses lost a minimum of 30% up to 85% in revenue. That's huge for a business. Cactus Creek Coffee, which is actually one of the coffee shops here in Spring Lake, and it's in the building that I own, they stopped serving coffee every single day. They're closed 2 days a week now. They've modified their hours. Other businesses are talking about shutting down if this doesn't improve, but the Chamber of Commerce has to advocate for these businesses and talk to the leadership on Fort Bragg in order to improve this. With that, a chamber works very closely with the town. So the chamber worked very closely with Mayor Dobbins, Mr. O'Gara, and Mr. Danny Gerald in order to meet with the deputy to the garrison commander of Fort Bragg. We took him on a tour of all the top 5 businesses who lost a lot of money, trying to convince him to reopen those gates. So both the town and the chamber are advocating for these businesses, and we are hoping that this changes so that we can continue hosting fun events and continue to grow this chamber. Finally, you can always contact us here if you ever need to send us an email or give us a call. We are currently working on a new website for the Chamber of Commerce, but to give you a future forecast for what we are planning on doing. We are planning still on hosting the color run that we've been talking about now for a while. When I had presented the color run here, probably about a year ago, I want to say, I was not part of the chamber in this role. Now I am, and I have a little bit more control to make this happen. But we are still bringing a color run to Spring Lake. Hopefully thousands of people will come to the town. We're planning a kayak festival in March. We are talking about starting to plan a flower festival for Spring Lake, but all of these events that are meant to be community-style events for people to come to will be hosted by the town, the businesses, and that's why all of these things have to be doing well in order to be able to provide this for the town and keep everybody happy and, you know, have everybody look at Spring Lake, because this is a beautiful area. We've been hit really hard by natural disasters, by things outside of our control, like the military. We're continuing to always have these hardships and struggles, but it goes to show you that the backbone of this town is very, very strong, because regardless, we overcome everything, and we're continuing to fight for that. And the Chamber of Commerce here in Spring Lake will continue to do that for the rest of the town. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Alderman Christian. Dan Cooper.
That was very impressive. Have you been working with Guns Plus? I know they're opening soon.
They've already opened.
They did reopen.
Yes.
They did reopen. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's very happy Guns Plus is open, but yeah, they worked really hard to get that back open.
Have you heard anything from Compare Food?
No, I have not. I know Compare Foods is they're getting there, but they will be opening. Timeline, not 100% on that, but they will be opening soon.
Yeah. The question I've been asked for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Well, with anything, it can be very bureaucratic, but as you can see, the front face, they've already improved a lot of stuff. The parking lot has been repainted. They've worked with the landlord there quite closely, and they will. It's a matter of time, but they will open.
Have you seen much progress on the gate, changing the gate hours?
A little bit. One thing that Mr. Justin Mitchell did is he adjusted the hours, but it didn't really help Spring Lake. He's given us ideas on how we can adapt to this gate closure, but we're not really taking that as an answer, because we just want them to at least reopen one gate so it doesn't shut down the town. But I have been sending emails. We have businesses sending emails to the leadership, and we're going to continue pushing that forward, and the town will also continue pushing that, and hopefully something changes.
It doesn't just affect Spring Lake business, but it affects supply businesses and food businesses. I used to work for Budweiser, and they tell me it's just affecting them tremendously, trying to get deliveries out there.
Yes.
I don't know, it's frustrating for me because I was a prior soldier. Guard duty was one of our requirements. We always did guard duty, we always did CQ, we always did staff duty. And to hear people on the base say, soldiers need to be training, not wasting their time with guard duty, is just frustrating.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for all your work. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Alderman Cooper.
Thank you so much. I just had a couple of questions. If you repeat the festival, the Christmas festival, would you have to move it, or because if you had that many people, it seems like it would really grow. But it sounds like it was a great idea. Would you have to move it, or maybe to the rec or outside or something?
Yes. And I'm so glad you asked that question, because I didn't mention one little piece. We do the spring fling, right? The town of Spring Lake does that every April. And the chamber is going to be helping in a little bit with the spring fling this year. And we're talking about doing it on downtown Main Street this time, just because we want it to be big and we want people to really see downtown and try to get some investment going on in there and grow that. So depending on how that goes in April, to be able to hold and host that many people, that would be the place that I would want to host a future Christmas market. Christmas markets, well, they're a German thing, but they're always outside regardless. So 3,000 people was a lot in that building. It was crazy. We weren't expecting it. We were able to hold it, but a larger venue and something that would promote the town a little bit more is something that I am looking to do, yes.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, that, you know, something that big would really do great downtown.
Yes, absolutely, and we will plan that, and hopefully it works really well with the spring fling, and then we'll continue hosting many of those events in downtown and get that booming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Gara.
I believe you kind of shortchanged yourself, because there were quite a few events that I came out there to, where that place was just loaded down with people. Not talking about Christmas. Sure, I apologize. I think we had like a German.
Oh, Oktoberfest, that's right.
Yeah. And there was something else besides the car show.
After the flood, so much is like chaotic.
Yeah. And that place was basically jam-packed when I came through there. Also, you know, along with us being hurt, you know, the troops on Fort Bragg actually hurt too. If you go by there and you see them trying to get on base, it's line after line after line for the ones that actually did come out and try to catch lunch. And on top of that, I think Fort Bragg is realizing now that they do not have the facilities to feed these people on base. So, with the help of the mayor first, the manager, and the chamber, and anybody else out there, we need to keep shooting emails, messages, you know, and let them know we need to do something. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. O'Gara, I agree with you 100%. Evolution Athletics is one of the businesses that's in that building, and our clientele there are active duty soldiers, and we hear them talking about this every single day. So many disgruntled soldiers trying to get to work, off of work is so chaotic now, and they're upset just getting to work just because of the traffic alone. So we're hoping that soon the leadership on Fort Bragg will realize this, and it's not just impacting Spring Lake like you guys are saying, it's impacting everybody. So we have hope that it will change.
And before you take your seat, many thanks. And let me also ask that all of you who are here, check out the Facebook page, check out the web page, check out her energy, her vision, and her cooperative spirit. We thank you for what you have done to help transform the wonderful town of Spring Lake. And I want to get on a kayak. The life will be on, of course.
We'll send you out there with a river guy.
I need to have somebody in there with me, so they can test the waters. But thank you, and I must say, I say it to you, you've done a great job, and I'll say to the public that you have done a great job, and we thank you.
Thank you. It is always a work in progress, and it can always be better, but we are continuing to improve 1% every day. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you. Okay, we transition to new business. Mr. Gerald with the resolution.
Yes, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. I have before you an agenda item to address surplus property that we have due to Hurricane Florence. If you look at it, if you look through your agenda item, you will see a listing of the surplus items that were created due to the flooding of the Public Works building. And I basically need to have that resolution, I guess, written by the town clerk for congruency, and hereby approve this resolution to give me the authority to manage the selling of these items. Disposal of these items.
They're all,
Okay. I'll read it. I'll just say, the resolution of the Board of Aldermen from the Town of Spring Lake, North Carolina, declaring surplus various public works equipment. Whereas the town periodically has public property that has outlived its useful life because of flood damage, and whereas North Carolina General Statute 160A-266 subsection B allows the Board of Aldermen to dispose of public property upon the adoption of a resolution, and whereas the attached list of property, attachment A, is no longer needed for any governmental use by the town of Spring Lake, and whereas it is the intent of the town to dispose of the declared surplus property. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the town of Spring Lake, North Carolina, that Section 1 of the town of Spring Lake does hereby declare said public property surplus needs of the town. Section 2, the town of Spring Lake does hereby authorize town staff to dispose of said public property. Section 3, this resolution shall be effective February 11th, 2019. Sorry.
Question, sir.
Yes.
Whereas this property has outlived its useful life because of the flood.
Right.
So these items listed, is that so, or
That's so.
solely due to the flood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, if the flood caused the damage, then they have not outlived their life. They outlived it by wear and tear, is that right? Yeah.
I was thinking it outlived its life because they're wet. They're mostly electrical, so they're really not any good. So you can't service them. So
Okay.
the flood killed them.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, what you got?
What actually is gonna happen with these things?
You know, we're gonna probably dispose of them as scrap metal.
Oh, that last item on the list.
The lawnmower.
Yeah, that's a great big piece of lawnmower. That's what I'm thinking, 'cause I've been down and looking at the different material. Oh, excuse me, I've been down there and I looked at some of these items. And that lawnmower is a valuable piece of equipment.
If we can get it to run, yes, it's valuable. If we can't, then the maintenance and upkeep on it is going to be more than what the mower is worth.
Sell it to me.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hank.
Mr. Mayor, in further answer to the Mayor Pro Tem's question, the statutes and an ordinance that the board adopted long ago give the manager in these situations a lot of flexibility to sell these items at what's called private sale for a negotiated price. It's good to provide public notice like you all are doing, but it's a simple process. And the manager says these items have minimal remaining value.
Alderman Jackson.
If they're not usable, who are you gonna sell it to?
Like a metal yard, scrap metal yard, something like that. The weight.
Alderman Jackson.
Basically, we still sell them in lots.
Yes, like a lot or a gang of stuff.
That hasn't changed.
No, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to, people who don't remember, this is for a person like me who's been here for 9 years, it's old hat.
Yes, sir.
That's good value, though.
So I just want clarification. I thought that they were gonna be sold as scrap, but if you pull something out, do we have to put it on, USA, the website where we, so that it's available for everybody? How do we have to do that?
Right. If we were to, let's say, and you have a lot of people who are mechanically inclined. I am not really that mechanically inclined. But if, let's say, somebody thinks they can start a mower, if that's an issue, then we would have to pull it out, take that out the lot and sell it on gov.deal, something like that. But I would rather just get rid of it all in the lot.
So if we decide to sell one of the items, we have to change this resolution, correct?
We would,
Because this is for everything, it says everything on lot A. So if we decide to pull something out, we would have to change the writing of this, correct?
That is a good question, but no, under the ordinance, that is in the town's code of ordinances that the board adopted previously, as the statute authorizes you all to do, it gives the manager a lot of flexibility in situations like this.
Right, but what I'm saying is, right now, the ordinance says that we're gonna dispose of it, so, and this is everything on attachment A. What I'm saying is, if we're gonna sell some, or somebody has an interest in buying some, then doesn't this need to be modified and those items pulled from that attachment A to reflect the record correctly?
Ms. Wood?
If I may, I'm the one who wrote the resolution, and I was told on these particular items that most of them were damaged beyond repair and that they were just gonna be disposed of, as in thrown away. If some scrap could be sold out of them, it would be, but most likely, most of this stuff was so badly damaged and so old that it was just gonna be disposed of, as in thrown away. That's why I didn't even put gov deals on there. It was my understanding that it was gonna be disposed of.
Well, I'm just asking that if that is the decision you make, that this be reflected correctly, that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Alderwoman Jackson.
Clarity. So we're gonna dispose of it. You want to dispose of everything here because it's old and the water damaged it, correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, who decided that? Who decided that it doesn't work anymore, can't be repairable? Who decided that?
Yes, staff went down and looked at these items. These items were, listed on our insurance as being damaged, and they were also documented by FEMA. So those items are listed as being a deadline.
I'm kind of gonna agree with, Alderwoman Cooper. If we're gonna dispose of it and get rid of it, then do that, but if you're gonna sell it, it needs to be different. Because disposing to me means get rid of, trash it, nobody buys it.
Yes, sir.
I see the point of confusion here. Disposal in the statute means selling the property for whatever we can get for it. The manager says it has low remaining value. The town has filed insurance claims to recoup the lost value. What we're doing here, if the board adopts the resolution, is just selling the property for the fairly minimal remaining value that it has.
And it doesn't have to go on at gov.com to do that. Because it could.
No, it doesn't. It, like I said,
So anybody could, so if Mr. Finch come up after this meeting and say, I wanna buy it, you can offer it to him to buy it?
he would buy the lot.
He'll buy the lot, you can't do that? Okay, that's what I need clarity on.
The ordinance, the existing ordinance in the town's code of ordinances gives the manager a lot of flexibility in situations like this where the property has minimal value. To put it on gov deals, if that makes sense, which is an online property disposition website for that purpose. Or, as you said, if someone wants to come up and make an offer, the manager will hear that. And his job is to just get for the town the best value at sale that he can.
So it's totally at the discretion of the manager.
It is because you all, the board previously gave the manager that discretionary authority.
Well, we need to fix that ordinance, because we don't want you to have 100%.
If it makes you feel any better, if it makes you feel any better, there's a dollar limit to that, and it's.
I know I'm joking, but honestly, you know, to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do, there's accountability to everything. And to give a person, and not to say about this manager, because I like her, but to give a person free will to do what you want to do, without without somebody asking and following up, especially when you're talking about getting rid of this stuff, and this stuff looks like to be kind of expensive. You know, that's throwing money down the drain. I'd like to know what drain that money goes down.
Mr. Mayor and members of the board, the remedy here that the statutes provide is public disclosure. You all are discussing this in public. Everybody knows what the town is doing. And the authorization to the manager provides a dollar cap.
Okay.
So above that, there's a much more detailed statutory procedure for disposition of property.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
You know, I found out a long time ago that it's actually the board's responsibility to actually go look at this equipment that we're getting ready to say, throw it away. You know, and it's not a bad idea to look at it.
We need a motion to approve, reject, or modify this resolution. Mayor Pro Tem McGarry.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution.
Alderwoman Jackson.
I'll second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution 2019-3, declaring surplus property. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign of nay. Okay, item 9B, declaring a road closure ordinance 2019.1. Mr. Gerald again.
Yes, Mayor. Council, I have before you an ordinance declaring a road closure for the Dr. Seuss Parade, and I'd like to read it for the record. An ordinance declaring a road closure for a Dr. Seuss Parade. Whereas the Town Board of Aldermen of Spring Lake wishes to continue the tradition of providing an annual Dr. Seuss Parade for the pleasure of its citizens, and whereas the Board of Aldermen of Spring Lake acknowledges its citizens realize a public and financial benefit from holding an annual Dr. Seuss Parade, and whereas the Town Board of Aldermen of Spring Lake acknowledges a parade requires approximately 2 hours to install signing and traffic control, and also requires approximately 2 hours for removing signs, traffic control, and litter. Now therefore be it ordained by the Town Board of Aldermen of Spring Lake pursuant to authority granted by General Statutes 20-169, Section 3, that they do hereby declare a temporary road closure during the days and times set forth below on the following described portions of a state highway system route. Dates are Saturday, March 9th, 2019, 7 a.m. through 3 p.m. Route description is 3rd Street until parade passes, Pole Avenue and Bridge until parade passes, and Main Street, North Carolina State Road 1449. This ordinance will become effective when signs are erected giving notice of the limits and times of the parade and implementation of adequate traffic control to guide through vehicles around the parade route adopted this day.
There are questions before the motion. Alderman Christian.
Just one, I know about this one, but how many Main Street events are we having planned this year?
I believe 2 that I can think of right off my head. Might be 3, but I know 2. We have this parade, and then we have Springfield.
Okay.
It's going to be down there.
Color.
And the color one.
Okay, so we may add something at the end of the year. It's always a possibility.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Alderwoman Cooper.
I make a motion that we adopt, the resolution for the road closure.
Mayor Pro Tem McGarry.
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2019-1, declaring road closure for the Dr. Seuss Parade. You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
see what we can do about naming the tennis court, and, suggestions have been with Cal Tenant. So, where do I go from there on?
There's a number of ways you can do it. I mean, if the board is ready to do that, then you can just take a vote. It's really up to the mayor how he wants to do that.
Okay, we'll discuss it first and then we'll take a vote. Mayor Pro Tem O'Gara, then, Alderman Christian.
I would go along with Cal Tennant. For many years, he's actually served this town. And, he's had an influence on many that used to be young people here, who are no longer young people because he's been out of the ballpark for a while. But, after talking with, my fellow board members and a few citizens, I would have to go with Cal Tennant. Thank you.
I have to agree with Mr. O'Gara, and I'm still trying to work on being a young person, but it's a struggle. So, like Miss Jackie and a lot of us that grew up here with Coach Tennant, and we always called him Coach Tennant. He's been a very big positive influence on me. He's just one of those adults, one of those fathers that we grew up with, and always set a good example, like other fathers, Mr. Rice and Mr. Higgins and others. So I definitely want to see this happen. It's something that would just be a great way to honor him in some small way and let him and his family know that Spring Lake is not forgotten. And I definitely will never forget him. And hopefully he'll be around for a long time. Thank you.
Alderwoman Cooper, you get ready to buzz in?
I just wanted to make a motion that we name the, new tennis court after Cal Tennant.
That's the motion, we need a second. Mayor Pro Tem O'Gara.
I'd like to make a second motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the tennis court, Spring Lake Tennis Court, be named in honor of Cal Tennant. You heard the motion, or you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't hear. They were all ayes. Sorry. Thank you. Let me ask this. Would you be the one to call him and officially let him know that, Mr. Christian?
Yes, I'll call the first thing tomorrow morning.
Can you call him tonight?
Oh, yeah.
So that it doesn't come across as a rumor?
Yeah, I can do that. I can call his daughter as well.
I think that would be good coming from a board member as the official record, notification.
Definitely.
And we will have an official event.
We're going to have a big event. I hope we will anyway, right, sir?
Oh, yeah.
We will, yes.
Definitely looking forward to it, especially with the splash pad. And Ms. Jackie, thanks for bringing this up. Soon. And I'm gonna call Coach Tennant tonight. If I can't find him, I know I'll find him at Hardy's tomorrow morning.
Good job. Okay, we're down to the last word. Alderwoman Jackson, it's your time.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. It's really good to see all of you here. Izzy, thank you for your report. Thank you, Ms. Keisha Allen, for coming in and gracing us with your presence, and everybody else, especially when you take the time from getting off of work to come and see what's going on in the town of Spring Lake. Thank you, Coach Finch, for coming in, for making sure that we buy your t-shirts. Thank you so much for that as well. And all the residents that came in, we appreciate everything that you have done and come to see what we're doing. Hold us accountable, that's what you're supposed to do, so thank you.
Did you say Ms. Sanford?
Miss Betty Sanford is always loving because she keeps you in check.
And I thank someone for the new light notification. Not only do I see the light, but I hear you click. And this way of yours is still on here, so you might want to turn yours off. And if you want to stay, yeah, it's off now. All right, we don't want you to stay here all night. We shall now entertain, okay, Alderwoman Cooper,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Alderwoman Jackson.
I second that motion.
They did it before I got it out of my mouth. You heard the motion and the second. All in favor, sign of aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, sign of nay. The ayes have it.